Hey everyone, I'm going to continue our work with FDP here, and this time we are going to start with the decimal and we are going to work our way to the percent and the fraction. So we're going to be going to the right and to the left, starting from the middle column. I'm going to go to the right first, so I'm going to go from decimal to percent first, and then I'm going to go the other way, decimal to fraction. To go from a decimal to a percent, I'm going to take the decimal and I'm going to move it 2 places to the right. So in 0.005, here's my decimal. I'm going to move it 2 places to the right. 1, 2. Now it's really important that you're only jumping 2 spaces and that you're being very accurate with where your jumps are in your number, because I don't want to jump too far or jump over things that I should not be. So this is going to be 0.5%. Now to go the other way, to write this decimal as a fraction, I'm going to, count the decimal places. 1, 2, 3. This is the tenths place. This is the hundredths. This is the thousandths. So this also explains where these values are going to come from. So when I write this as a fraction, because this number is in the thousands place, my denominator has to have 1,000 in it. It's also 3 decimal places, and there are 3 zeros on this number. And then I'm going to put my 5 on top. Now this does say fraction in simplest form, so I am going to simplify my fraction. I'm going to divide by 5, and I get 1 over 200. Okay, and the second one, I have 0.78, so I'm going to move my decimal 2 places to the right, so 1, 2. So this is going to be 78%. And then for 78, I'm going to count my decimal places, tenths, hundredths, so it's going to be 78 over 100. 78 and 100 are both even, so I'm going to divide by 2. 78 divided by 2 is 39, and 100 divided by 2 is 50. For 1.65, here's my decimal. I'm going to jump to the right 2 places, 1, 2, so 165%. Now for the numbers with a value bigger than 1 in front, or 1 or bigger in front, we're going to have a mixed number for our fraction answer. So my answer is going to start with the 1 in front, and then I'm going to count the decimal places, 1, 2. That's going to be 65 over 100. And then I can simplify this 65 over 100 by dividing by 5. I just can't forget to bring this with me. So my final answer is going to be 1 and then 13 over 20. So when it's a percent bigger than 100%, my fraction is going to be represented as a mixed number. Just make sure you don't lose that whole number in the process of simplifying. 0.13, here's my decimal, 1, 2 jumps to the right, so 13%. And then I'm going to count 2 decimal places, so 13 over 100, and this one's a simple one, it does not need to be simplified. So here's my decimal on 0.025, so 1, 2, and this is where I talk about being accurate, especially when there's more than 2 digits, because when I'm doing my jumps, I want to make sure that I'm only jumping twice to the right or twice to the left, depending on what I'm doing, and that my decimal ends up where it is supposed to end up. So this is going to be 2.5%. And then 0.25 has 3 decimal places, so this is going to be 25 over 1,000. And 25 goes into 1,000, so that's my greatest common factor. So I get 1 over 40. or 0.85. This one only has 2 digits, so when I do my 2 jumps, I'm at the end of the number. So 1, 2 jumps is going to be 85%. And then 2 decimal places is going to be 85 over 100. I divide by 5, and I get 17 over 20. So here's my decimal in 4.05. I want to go to the end of the number, 1, 2, so 405%. Now this one is very similar to, so this one right here is very similar to this one up here, a percent bigger than 100%. I had that mixed number as my fraction answer, so I'm going to do the same thing down here. I'm going to start with the 4 in front, count my decimal places, 1, 2, so my initial fraction is going to be 5 over 100, and then I'm going to simplify. So I'm going to divide by 5, and then I want to make sure that I keep this with me, so 4 and 1 over 20. So this was going from a decimal to a fraction and a percent. I went in the direction of the percent first because all I had to do was move the decimal to the right 2 places. And then to go to the left, I am going to count the number of decimal places and use the correct power of 10 according to place value. So tenths, hundredths, thousandths, and so on. And then simplifying my fraction when I can.